Okay, hello world, Heather Thrills and Miss Bex. We just did a Dr. Joe Dispenza webinar, and we're sharing what we learned.
Yay.
Because that's what smart, pretty girls do. So we were talking about how to is the most important, and in my writing, in my book, I've layered out theory and getting deeper into how to, giving people things to actually do to improve their life. Just basically the inner work, but on paper. And Miss Bex and I were just talking about profit being a result of growth.
Yes.
So in order to become more valuable, even to yourself, to see that value within yourself, you have to grow. And these techniques of growth include meditation, self-awareness, making better choices, and Allie, you were talking about responsibility. Talk more about that.
About responsibility?
Like taking responsibility to, what were you saying?
Be responsible, just be responsible for your own mental health, the way that you speak. Be responsible for everything in your life. So, let's see. Be responsible for releasing your own emotions, fear, sadness, anger, guilt. All of this attaches itself to your body, into your intestines. It makes you sick. Not only can it create diseases, but also within your mental health. And when you finally release that, imagine how much space that you could finally create for all these thoughts that you're able to manifest into your life. Be responsible for creating and having a vision of your future self. He was saying, let's see, where is it? Okay, have a complete understanding of the old self and a complete vision and the emotional feeling of your future self. Because when you get that emotional feeling of your future self, you get a free sample of who you become, which sparks this fire, this motivation, a goal to be who you want to be. And that's what drives you to be more conscious and be so conscious that all you could do is be conscious about being conscious. That's it. That's
I
it.
love that. Yeah, the old self versus the future self.
Yeah.
He was talking about evaluating your old self. What limiting beliefs you have, what behaviors do you have to change? Like, get really real with your current situation, with accepting where you're at in order to move into that future self. Like, taking the time to evaluate, because you might create this future self, but you're bringing old self emotional baggage with you. So getting really clear, and how we get clear is through meditation, through mindfulness, and evaluation. Literally write these questions down. So he talks about mind over matter. Matter is your body, and the mind is what controls the body. But with our previous conditions and our patterns, our habits, our body starts to control our mind. Where I remember when I got this yoga membership at Sweat, and I came home, I didn't have plans to go to yoga. My days are mapped out. Like, I know hour by hour where my body needs to be from a mental standpoint. And I didn't have yoga on my schedule, but my body brought me there. I started packing all my things, and I was like, no, we have this to do. Like, we got to get this work done, da-da-da. But my body brought me there out of habit, which is a good thing. That's a good habit, right? But sometimes we do this with bad things. And so to evaluate, ask yourself those hard questions. Like, what experiences do you have to eliminate, right? What people do you have to stop associating with so that you're not reminded of who you used to be? Like, get really courageous in creating new behavior for yourself. And then, like, beyond visualization, that's what I love about Joe Dispenza is he's not talking about visualizing your best life. He's talking about experiencing it now to create chemical makeup from the gene and protein level of your body, like a cellular, molecular level, feel how it would feel to be in that vision, to create what your body will take you into, like it took me into the yoga without even having it on my schedule.
Yeah, and have the steps, separate the steps to get to where you want. So, like eliminating the people, places, decisions, experiences that you need to do. Boom, you got that away. Release the emotional patterns that you have to do. Boom. Now set your goals. What do you have to do to get to here? What do you have to do to get from here to there? Now, what is that? Now take those steps.
Yeah, take the first step. Just keep moving forward, because we're really excited about reminding ourselves that we are here to create, adapt, and evolve.
Yeah.
Our main purpose, we're built for adaptation. That's why we're at the top of the food chain. Well, maybe not sharks and bears. I don't know. They could eat me. I'm small. But talk about that. Evolution, adaptation, being greater than the challenges in your life.
Yeah. So, clearly we have been reprogrammed to be installed with fear and all these horrible emotional patterns when naturally we are wired to evolve. We are meant to adapt. This is why we have gotten so far. Though we are only trotting the surface level where we could really take ourselves high, especially with meditation and just being extremely consistent with our mental health and life in general. But it's so much. It's way more simple than it sounds. Like
It really is. Yeah, connecting with your highest self, like creating a future to step into.
Yeah.
So much we're operating in this realm of what I got to do today, what I got to get done this month, and it's like, who do I have to become? Not what do I have to get done, and who do I have to become aligns with what do I have to practice day in and day out, because we're constantly, what Dr. Joe suggests is that we're constantly under this stress, and stress stimulates the brain. It arouses the brain to get into action mode, but we're so conditioned to take the same action. So develop new patterns, develop new actions so that you can control your emotional reactions and step into start memorizing emotional reactions from the future. So he talks about remembering your future self daily.
Yes. You know what I really like that he said also about release or forget about the thoughts, or know the thoughts not to have. Replace those thoughts. Create emotional intelligence. I really liked that. Another thing that I really liked as well was how he was saying that you have to show up. Show up exactly how you want your team or your future self to be.
And your team can be your family, your friends. Like, doesn't have to necessarily be at work. Like, be a model for them, you know?
Yeah.
And make sure you're contributing to other people learning is what I got.
Yes.
Be educational. You know things. And everybody matters. Everyone has their unique lens that they see the world through. So be courageous in sharing what you've learned and your spin on it, and what you've been through, what challenges you've overcome, and how you've done it.
Yeah, and be compassionate, understanding. Know that not everyone is going to be on the same level as you or where you want to be. So this is why you have to create a connection, a communication with everybody. Teach them every single day. Make them feel worthy.
Ooh.
What did he say? Make them feel worth your while. Value. If you want people to value you, you must value them as well.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you cannot be a leader and not value the people that you have. You can't be disconnected, or else you're never gonna have a future with these people.
Yes. Yeah, he talks about elevated emotions. So operating in a rhythm of gratitude, which is kind of what we're talking about, gratitude and value. Like when you really value yourself, and it's so easy to value yourself. There's people I've talked to that are, oh no, what was me types, and I'm like, but you have so much to be grateful for. Like, not only do we live in the best city in the world, and all of these like things that are tangible that you can touch, but there's so much to be grateful for that we can't even recognize, like the way our body is operating and everything. Can't get into that right now. However, elevating your emotional state so that you can create a new state of being, because we're morphed by every thought we have, every choice we make, every action we take. So becoming more self-aware and elevating our emotions to gratitude, we're giving the universe, hey, I'm really grateful for boom, 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 and that allows more space for that in our life.
Yeah, that also helps reprogram or rewire our brains, as well as constantly listing or feeling what we're grateful for. Whenever you have that nasty thought, list 5 things that you're grateful for, just so you realize there's so much more to life than nasty thoughts. We live in our head so much that we allow it to affect us. So
I love how you say, like, go and recognize what you're grateful for, because it's not just about like changing your mind. You're literally changing your chemical makeup within your body. Once you shift your being from this nasty state, as she says, to a state of gratitude, you're becoming an energetically, on a cellular, molecular level, you are becoming different. You are showing up in the world with better energy.
yes.
It's not just hosh posh, brainwash, because you're making stuff up in your mind all the time.
Yeah, right.
So make up good shit, you know?
Like
Good things.
Fuel your soul, your brain, and your heart. We're constantly looking at TVs, phones, the outside world, magazines. That's not the real life. It's really not. Like it's so easy to create your own authentic self and person and who you want to be, and you're able to show up exactly as that. You don't have to be anything else. Yeah, it's easy. Just let go. Also with the whole social media, yada yada, anxiety and stress, and how it just controls us.
Some of the one of these last points is it takes every day to keep a vision alive. It takes consistent effort. Why not do this inner work? Why not practice gratitude? You know, you're practicing checking Instagram, you're practicing hashtags. Like, why not practice personal self-reflection? Why not get excited about what you could create? Why not prove it to yourself, and for me, to other people, that you can create this vision for yourself and then bring it to fruition? Why not have new performance behaviors? I'm really sold out on meditation, gratitude, and playfulness, like having fun with it. If something makes you feel trapped or limited, drop it. You have one life. It's ending a second at a time, a word at a time right now. Like, we don't know when our time will come. So spend your time being in the state that you are going to find the most joy, and keep elevating your emotion to that, using gratitude, using the vision of what your best self is. Like, if you can't see it for yourself, like, I like to say, oh, I'm channeling Beyonce today, you know, like some energy of somebody that you look up to and admire, if it's hard for you to use your imagination for what the future can hold for you.
Yeah.
motivate yourself, create the vision for your future, and create excellence.
Yes. Create the formula.
So we're going to set some goals right now.
Ooh.
And find out what kind of mind we have to create to align with our
Ooh,
purpose.
I love this. Okay, so something that I worked with NLP, which is neuro linguistic programming, is creating a timeline. Obviously, with the NLP, you have to dig deep within your subconscious and letting go of stuff. But it's never too late to create a timeline and let go of the old self and vision the new self. So create the timeline in your mind. Envision everything. Step by step. So when you think of your timeline, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? What country? What do you smell? What do you hear? Are you writing in paper? Are you writing, typing on the computer? You already know this. You already know the answer.
This I love. Like, I went to this book writing workshop and she says, the book is already written.
Yeah.
Just be the vehicle. Let it out.
It's already there.
Yes.
All you have to do is tell me the first thing that pops out of your mind, because that's your subconscious speaking. That's what you truly want.
I see myself in Spain.
Ooh.
I know.
Love it. Beautiful.
And I'm writing in a notebook.
Mm-hmm.
Like I do. And yeah, that's in 5 years. Maybe I have a baby, but I didn't see it. I saw myself in a nice dress then. Hair down.
Okay. Okay, but who are you?
Oh,
What do you feel? Who are you?
I'm really kind and smiling. I feel accomplished. I feel calm and at peace. And while you were talking about the timeline, I wrote down, what mind do I need to have to become my new self? And it's a mind of constant trust and abundance, knowing everything around me is always supporting me. And Tony Robbins says, what if life happens for you and not to you?
Yeah.
And I get that, but I take it a step further and say, what if life is happening from you, not to you? So really creating this little, not even little, this large, bright light within me to take me around. And so what I put out is what I am within. So to do this inner work, to create the world that I wish to live in. Because me and you can have the same experience, right? We can drive on the highway, someone can cut us off, and one of us can say, firecracker, this is some BS, you know? Yeah, and get all riled up and get stressed out. And one of us can say, you obviously need to go somewhere. Maybe it's very important. I forgive you, or I'm really not affected by that. And then that ripples into the whole, because
absolutely, it's energy flows through us, and especially
it's not even constant. Like, we as beings are not even constant. Like, energy is literally flowing every moment. It's changing on a scientific cellular level. Like, I keep repeating that. Look into what you're made up of.
Yeah, you are responsible for the energy that you take on. When you find yourself yelling at the guy doing road rage, be like, that's not me.
Right?
Bye,
Baby.
beep. Bye. I remember, obviously I was unconscious at one point where I was just a living zombie, just walking around. And then when I was introduced to this lifestyle, it was so easy to catch on myself, and I love just continuing to learn more and how to work with energy and light and allowing it to flow through you. You know, there were times when I was driving and I felt like a furnace in my chest, like, but if you realize you are affecting yourself.
Right.
All you are doing is affecting yourself, the way that you feel, you are allowing yourself to feel something so silly that was all created by yourself.
I think it's important to have this example of the car too, because you're literally in your car. They can't hear you. I mean, unless you lay on the horn and yell out the window, but they can't hear what your messed up, thought is. So you're infecting yourself, and that's why I use that example, because we're in control of that though. Like what Joe Dispenza is talking about is creating a shortened emotional reaction. So the sooner you catch yourself, you can decide, how long do I want to react to this that happened? I don't want to spend much of my time at all. So constantly rewiring the way that your brain reacts to your emotions. Okay, so goals. Let's get back to goals.
Oh, goals. Okay.
Let's create some goals to create our future selves. And I can't wait to watch this video in 3 weeks, 1 month, 2 years, and see that it has all happened because of our power and belief of ourselves and in the rhythm.
Yeah. So when I was doing NLP, obviously, one more time, I saw my future self. I was in the jungle. I was wearing like just the most gorgeous white outfit, and the way that I felt was so like, I don't want to say full, but I just felt like there was so much space. It was so light, just beautiful light flaring out of me, balanced, and there was this big gorgeous man behind me, and I just felt complete. Which just, I thought this was going to be like a 5-year run, and this was 2 years ago that I saw this. And next month I will be going to Bali. I will be going to the jungle for the YTT, and it's exactly who I saw. And I can't wait to be there, seeing myself, setting more goals. So thank you for bringing up the goals, because now I'm able to create what I want after the jungle.
Yes. And it happens sooner than we think. I love that you said you saw it in 5 years and now it's 2 years later. It happens faster than you think, so long as you're doing the inner work. It's not just going to manifest. If nothing changes, folks. You gotta change it yourself.
And you have to envision it. You have to meditate. You have to meditate on it as well. I constantly envisioned this
Meditate
girl.
on this avocado toast.
There you go.
What is a goal I can create for myself?
So, you said 5 years. What about?
Oh yeah, let's do sooner. A goal that I have for myself is to I notice I emotionally react to things quite dramatically. I want to shorten my reaction time. That's a goal of mine, to shorten my reaction time, to bring myself back to the present moment, take a breath, and to not allow my system to be affected by these emotions, knowing that I can control it. Or not even control it, I can surrender to it. I can choose what happens next. And beyond that mental goal, I have a vision of myself barefoot in the sand, laughing and seeing my dad with me in another state, in Hawaii. And I keep having this vision of me in my garden with my shoes off, barefoot in the grass, turning over to my dad and saying, "Do you see the strawberries today?" Yeah, it keeps coming up. So I can't wait to manifest that this year. And who I have to become to allow this vision to bloom and to flourish, I have to become a risk taker. I have to become trusting, and I have to become weightless. Like to care less, I think. To care less, like.
Get out and control your thoughts. Clear your thoughts.
Ooh,
have space.
Carefree.
There you go.
Not care less, carefree.
Because if you cared less, you still care. You just care less.
Carefree.
But if you're
I love
carefree,
that.
You're free
You're
to
free.
care whether or not. So
Right.
it
You're
doesn't
free to
matter.
care about what you want to care.
Exactly.
But carefree. Yeah.
Be responsible what you care about.
Mm.
You know, really be. My booty is hanging out.
Should we pause it?
I mean, I'm hoping that it was covered. Anyways.
I'm publishing it.
My titty itches now. Okay.
Any
so-
closing messages for our listeners? You got to do the work.
Yeah, okay, so let me just go. Man, hold on. There is something that I want to read to you. Let me see. I'm so sorry. 1 second.
I thought this was cool. I'll talk while I was searching.
Yes, thank you.
The book Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza, he talks about melatonin levels rising in response to darkness. So, do a lot of stuff in light. Create really cool lighting spaces to allow creativity. Get little string lights or have a light on besides your computer if you're working at night, because melatonin causes our brain waves to slow down in preparation for sleep and dreaming. So you're literally slowing yourself down by getting in the dark. We've got all the windows open, curtains open, and allowing sunlight to come in. So just something, if you're doing this work and you maybe hit a wall or need some inspiration, go outside or turn a light on. Little life hacks.
Definitely. I'm so sorry. I'm looking for this quote that I
Speak from
really.
your heart.
Well, okay. Also, I could send you a link
Oh yeah, we'll
to-
link it in the.
to this, but basically, just like the sky, our mind is just like the vast space there, and like a thunderstorm, it's temporary. Acknowledge the emotions, acknowledge the pain, but don't allow it to linger.
Rumi has a quote, a poem called "The Guest House," which is featured in my book. It talks about, this one, yeah.
You should read it.
It talks about invite all of the sorrow and the pain and the depression, the anxiety, everything. A lot, like once it knocks at your door, open it up and laugh. Like this human body is a guest house, so allow everything to come through, but laugh with it. Be playful. Take responsibility for what you're feeling next.
Definitely.
That's what that reminded me of.
Absolutely.
Invite them in, let them sit, and that's where the self-awareness piece comes in and is so important. Being aware of these emotions, and Deepak Chopra talks about there's the you that's thinking, you're thinking your thoughts, you're listening right now, but then there's the one that's witnessing your thinking. You ever wake up, so to speak, from a thought where you're like, oh, I should do this and I should do this and I have to do that at 12, but then there's the one that says, oh, 12 o'clock we're busy. Like there's a constant silent observer that doesn't even say 12 o'clock we're busy, but it allows you that thought. So to really turn your attention towards just observing the way the brain starts to back and forth. You find your quote?
No.
Okay, it's not meant to be.
Sorry, guys.
We love you, girl.
We'll put it in the link because it'll sound much better. And it will look much better too because.
Whee! Oh my god, you're not in it at all.
Aww.